Hello, I'm James Carlson, and I'm here to interview the famous detective Sherlock Holmes. I'm here to talk to him about all the famous villains he's encountered over the years, and here I am outside of his wonderful apartment, 221B Baker. And now I'll be led in by the fabulous Miss Hudson.
Hello, Mr. Carlson.
Hello.
Mr. Holmes is ready to see you.
All right.
Please come this way.
Yes.
I hope you have a pleasant visit.
I intend to. Hello, Holmes. My name is...
Yes, I know who you are. James Carlson, from the Times, a local reporter. I trust that you got here all right and that your cab arrived on time. Unfortunately, it looks as though a dog has bitten you on the leg.
That's amazing. How did you figure that out?
It's rather elementary, really. I can tell you had been in a cab by your smell. Those cabbies are the only people I know that smoke Desmondale cigarettes. And as for the dog bite, well, I noticed a slight limp. And that specific limp that I see you walking with is very much a signature limp of a person bit by a cocker spaniel, which my neighbors have. Please, my dear fellow, have a seat. I'll be with you in a moment. Ah, that does it. Just studying up on punctuated equilibrium.
Ah, fabulous.
Do you smoke?
No, Holmes, I don't.
Ugh, I should quit. I've been doing it for far too long. Mrs. Hudson got me this.
Ah,
Still, I suppose it's better than nothing, of course.
yes, indeed.
Very good.
Wonderful. Yes, indeed.
So, the interview. Let us begin.
As we all know, you're one of the best detectives in the world. And as it turns out, you have faced a fair number of fairly competent villains. Which villain best sticks out in your recollection?
After many years of hard work, I have fought many villains of all sorts, and yet there are some that stick out to me. Of course, Professor James Moriarty will always be my greatest enemy. Besides that, there are plenty of others. Colonel Moran, Dr. Roylott, and Jefferson Hope, just to name a few.
Now, Mr. Holmes, I've looked over many of your cases and have noticed interesting links between all of the villains you fight.
Ah, yes, you are referring to the fact that they have all committed crimes. Or perhaps you meant the other characteristic of many of them, in that they are all foreigners or have lived in exotic places.
Exactly. Do you find it odd that none of the people you have fought were Englishmen?
You do forget Moriarty. Of course, with him, his maligned goals were due to a hereditary problem.
But aside from him and others like him, does this strike you as an odd coincidence?
I should say not.
And why is that?
Goodness, man, we are in the Victorian era.
I'm afraid I don't follow.
A pity. Watson! Could you come here for a moment?
Yes, Holmes?
Ah, my good sir, I see you brought your lovely wife, the Mrs. Watson, with you.
How do you do?
Now, please, good fellow, would you please tell my associate here all about the Victorian era and what it means to be English?
Holmes?
Yes, I know. Mr. Carlson here apparently did not read my short thesis on it.
Alright, Holmes. You see, Mr. Carlson, the Victorian era is the climax of our English empire. The economy is up, trade is up, society is up, and science is booming. In short, everything is going well for the country. God bless the Queen. You see, to be the English now in the Victorian era is to be the peak of society and humanity. We are the best people, Mr. Carlson. There are none better than we. Alright, Holmes, I must be off.
Does that clear everything up for you, Carlson?
Yeah, I believe it does. It kind of sounds like you English are the peak of civilization, and you can't really commit any crimes being English, and it leaves it up to foreigners like me to commit crimes.
Mr. Carlson, your deductions are correct. You see, Mr. Carlson, we English are a better sort, and this is clearly evident in the writing you find about the Victorian era. It is also most evident in Watson's own journals, and I think it is very important for you to note how perfect our society is.
Could you give a little more description on your society, Mr. Holmes?
Well, I suppose I could. First, I suppose it would be good to understand the structure of society. You see, there are three classes of people to be considered. First, We have the upper class, those who have been born into the aristocracy through their heritage. Their rule is just and dignified. They live lavish lives, but it is entirely proper that they do. Next, we have the middle. These are those who have earned some money, but have nowhere near that of those in the upper class. These people work for their living and attempt to emulate the lifestyles of the rich.
What about the last class?
The lower class. Well, there's not much to say about them. They're poor.
Okay, from what I can tell, you don't care about this lower class, and they're kept in that condition. They're kept in their poverty. Does this concern you at all?
Not really. Our society is structured perfectly. It does not concern me that the majority lives in poverty.
Can you tell me more about this society?
Absolutely. In this age, many have become entirely disillusioned with religion. In turn, many believe that deduction and science will answer life's problems. I personally believe this myself. Of course, science also does help explain the sort of villains I have encountered along my journeys.
Oh, really? How's that?
Oh, must I explain everything? Watson! Can you come here this instant?
Yes, Holmes. Need another explanation?
Excellent deduction.
Watson, who is, this?
Oh, why, this is my wife, Mrs. Watson.
Oh, okay.
Oh yes, Watson, would you please explain to our dear fellow here about scientific racism?
Of course, Holmes. Anything for you. You see, my good man, we're in an age of science. Thus we are able to find scientific facts for